Hey, welcome back to Freedom Algo. So today we have a range day. Definitely a range day. You can see that very clearly between these sections here, range high, range low. You can see the failed breakout trade over here and all that. But it also, the thing is with the way that it's going and what we've seen lately, it could turn into more of a bearish trend that goes lower and break finally does get out of the range because we've seen that lately. We've seen that with where it breaks out of the high side and turns into a trend later on. So just be aware of that. Like the range lows are starting to look a little bit less consistent. Originally, I had them off the close there, but it actually looks like the range lows might be a little lower, like down here somewhere. Could even be that close there, something like that. And it's starting to close below this range low, so it's very hard to tell for sure if it's going to keep on going. It might even be looking for, yeah, it might be looking for lower levels. So for now, I'm just going to leave it right there. But just letting you know, like there is a range in play, and it could break down and turn into more of a downtrend. We could even see something like where uh, something along the lines of like this playing out, where there's actually a wider sort of downtrend. You can kind of see that fitting the price action, something like that. So we'll put it in place. Let's talk about the trades. We had the big news item today. And then the next trade that I saw after that was right here. There's just this higher low that happens. From the high. It's a first entry, second entry long. It's a higher low. You are looking for a new low on this down channel, but I think right here with just how that's set up, it was looking like we were gonna get a nice little push back up towards the high side here, and then maybe we would go lower. So I liked that one. It was risky though because you are still thinking that we might get a new low on this down channel, so you have to be aware of that. And sorry about the audio. I'm just dealing with what I got with these earbuds. I might have to get a better mic for when I travel, but I can't bring my other one for traveling. So I'm still working on the audio stuff. My other mic that sounded pretty good for when I was traveling, it broke this morning. So such is life. All right, you just got to roll with it. Roll with the punches, as they say. So then this goes sideways, and then right here we got this high and what I liked here was there's a trade here. So there's a couple things happening here. So from here, there is a first entry, second entry long that then fails. And what I liked here was actually a first entry, and then I pull back second entry short. But it's risky. I didn't take this trade because it was too close to the lows. In hindsight, I realized that I actually had enough room to that blue line, which was the lows at the time that we were bouncing from. There was enough room to take that trade, but I just thought it was a little bit risky at the time, and so I skipped it. But in hindsight, I probably should have taken that trade. You could argue that it's actually a red arrow, but I just marked it green because it is close to those lows. Okay, so then came down here. I did take this trade. This was a nice one because we had this down channel. We get a close outside, and it's actually a first entry, second entry short. Now, technically by the counts, it's a first entry, second entry short that fails and then goes down. So it's sort of like a double trap. These are way more complicated, but visually, it's a second entry short. Visually, it's also a close outside of this channel and a close outside and a new high on the short-term channel all at once. So it's a good place for the up channel has played out and you're looking for a new low on the down channel. So there's a lot of reasons to like this trade. It's a big bearish bar. It's off the EMA. First attempt to go back to the EMA since this one back here, which is sort of looking like a repeat type bar from there. So we're definitely looking like we're going lower there. Again, it's really a first entry, second entry short that actually fails for a tick and then reverses. So it traps all the longs and the shorts at the same time. It's like a double trap setup. Really nice trade. I like that one a lot. And again, I would say that that is definitely a red arrow trade. It's really solid. I actually took that one live today. I was live streaming with my mentorship community and it was awesome. So I was live trading with them. I took the trade, and then afterwards, I did a full breakdown of everything and why that trade was so good. So anyway, that's just in the mentorship group, and if you want to learn more about that, just go to my website. So from here, we were coming up, and we finally do get this break here. there's just no setup. You get to close outside a new high, and it just plays out, but there's not really a setup there. But after that, you do have this wider channel that was forming, and I didn't take this trade right here, but I liked it. And I afterwards I said I should have taken that trade, but I was talking to my group at the time, and we were like talking through things, and just I was a little distracted, but that's okay because I had already had a really good day. So um, let me just see. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. I had an interruption there. All right, so right here, there's a first entry, second entry short. So you have a close outside of this up channel and a new high, and it's a second entry short, and it confirms this down channel. That is a great setup. Really great setup. Basically, the perfect type of bar you want. Just money trade, really nice. Again, I should have taken that one. That was probably the best trade of the day right there, and you definitely would have caught a nice runner on that. There's also a trap here. So from this high, there's a first entry, second entry long that fails, and it's also a second entry short. So that's a nice one. That's a trap, trapping all these longs who thought they were going to take a higher low on a failed breakout. But really, we were looking for the lows down here. Um, and so this one comes over. Oh, and look at this go. Just what I said. I said we were probably going to break down, and that's what we've been seeing happen lately. It looks like we're coming down to one of these key areas down here. So that's interesting. I don't know for sure, but this down channel isn't even the one I'd be using right here. I'd probably just say that the measure, you probably want to just draw it from this high, honestly, because this is a really steep channel. Something like this is in play. But wow, that's a pretty impressive drop. And it could be just making the measured move on the range itself, something like that. It could be going for that target. But anyway, let's go back over here because there is a nice trade here. Right here, you have so you break out of this down channel and you actually get this up channel with a closeout side new high all at once, and then it reverses. I wouldn't take this just so bullish in there. I just don't think that you can short that. Some people would argue there's a green arrow trade there. I don't think you can take that. But what you can take is this lower high that's also a second entry short. I think that's a nice one. It hasn't moved far enough. It's looking really bearish there, and we're looking for a new low. Already had the new high there. That's a nice one. And then it comes down, and you get this another one of these sort of double trap setups where you get a first entry, second entry long that fails and traps everybody, but then it traps all the shorts and it gives us a failed breakout of the range with a really bullish bar. I actually took this trade and recorded it, and I posted it to my mentorship group as well right after I took it, so they could check it out. It's a green arrow trade because you don't have a higher low, but I think it's a nice setup. I tried to get a runner. I was hoping to get a runner up to these highs. It didn't end up working out because it filled my break even stop on this one. So I did get a nice scalp out of it, scalp 20 contracts, and then my 5 contract runner got stopped. So then this thing broke down. There is a hidden second entry short there, but I don't think you can take that right there. You're not really looking to take a short there necessarily. And then it breaks all the way down. And then this is now finally breaking out into something else, but it's just getting kind of funky here. It is possible that there's some sort of a wider downtrend in play that might be forming. Um, I don't have it drawn here, but there could be something off of like this level. There could be something like this in play, some sort of a big wide kind of move, maybe something like that. It's hard to know for sure right here. What I would be saying is just play your short-term moves, draw your short-term channels. Always draw your short-term channels. It's never a bad thing to draw your short-term channels and train your eyes to see what's forming. So just pay attention to this. It could end up being also just like a really crazy failed breakout. Test some of those levels from yesterday. But just be safe out there because the volatility is interesting. It's actually these candles, some of these candles are kind of small, but some of these moves, like they just all of a sudden have these large candles. So you just got to be careful on a day like today. But I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'll see you all tomorrow.